Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome to the final round of the Ace Racing League Formula 3 Summer Series in rFactor 2. It's round 4 out of 4, and we head to virtual Japan to the infamous Suzuka circuit, feared and revered by drivers both in sim and in real life all over the globe. First opened in 1962 as a Honda test track, this iconic 5.8-kilometer circuit has been the host to some of the most memorable races in motorsport history, and I'm sure we'll add another to that list today. Now, I did have a big speech prepared to this to add up to the hype, but it's all been thrown out the window because we no longer have a championship battle on our hands. Second place driver Ruben van der Hooding has not entered this race, leaving Conor Peltmans as our Summer Series champion. Now, at the last race, there was a controversial incident between the pair, and a post-race penalty swapped the drivers in Peltmans' favour. So whether van der Hooding is not entering this race out of protest, we simply don't know. However, we do know that Conor is our new champion, so we'll be interviewing him at the end of this race, and I have a direct line to speak to him mid-race also, and we'll keep you posted how he's doing after the commercial breaks. So, let's get down to qualifying. So unfortunately we appear to be having technical issues, so we are trying to resolve these as quick as we can, but I will keep you posted on what's happening there. But the format for today's race is the same as last time, and the time before that, and the time before that. There is a 15-minute qualifying session in which the drivers must try to set the fastest time possible to give them the best grid slot they can get for the race. We then have a 5-minute warm-up session before a 40-minute race in which a tyre change is mandatory. So we could see strategy come into play here, especially when a little bird is told me that Conor Peltmans will be on a 2-stop. So could tyre wear be a massive factor here? The point system is different from your typical ARL series, given that it is a summer mini-series, with 10 points for the winner, 9 points for second place, all the way down for 1 point for 10th. There's no fancy trickery here, no points for pole position or fastest lap, just for where you finish after the 40 minutes. Given that this is no longer a championship decider, there is little tension over this race, although it will obviously be exciting. So we can hopefully have a fun end to the summer series. And just to add a little bit of fun, if anybody in the YouTube chat has any requests, scores in other sports, or anything they want to say, please do fire away, especially seeing as how we are having these technical issues at the moment. So we will try our best to resolve this. Apologies, I can tell you what's happening. I do have live timing. Conor Peltmans is currently sitting on virtual pole with a 1 minute 53 dead, which is a very respectable lap for his first qualifying lap. I'm just gonna. I will say the line. Welcome back to bottom gear, mate. I'm sorry. I was requested by a friend of mine to say that line. I've said that line. There you go. So, yes. Welcome, as I've said, welcome to ARL. Hopefully we can get rFactor 2 working. We're trying our very best here. I'll just keep you posted on what's going on in qualifying for now, with about 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Now, in the championship standings, obviously Conor Peltmans has secured himself that championship, but also Ruben van der Hooding, despite not entering this race, has secured himself second place because his nearest competitor, Niak Klein-Nagel, is 11 points behind him, so cannot overtake him in the championship. That being said, Luca Mangini is only 1 point behind him, so there is plenty of opportunity for those two to go toe-to-toe in this race. So I think the real battle we'll be seeing today will be for that third place in the championship. If you'll excuse me there. And I do have confirmation that the game is working, and yes, we are live. There we are. rFactor 2, just having a little moment there, but thankfully we've managed to be able to get that sorted, and we're live. Just following Conor Peltmans here as he travels into the tricky, almost double right-hander, not quite, but it's a tricky section here. Our new champion. Now he's been very nice to me this past week. He's given me the odd pieces of info here and there, and a direct call to him as well. So during the commercial breaks, I'll be hopping into a voice chat with him and just asking him how he's doing, and asking how the majority of anybody who's driving in this under the Sim Apex colours are doing as well, briefly before coming back, and I'll tell you how everyone's feeling after the 2 commercial breaks we have that are scheduled during the warm-up and halfway through the race. Now, he's also told me that tyre wear around here is absolutely demanding. It is really, really horrible, and it's actually, he reckons anyway, that it's better to go for a 2-stopper. Now, I'm not sure when the exact timings of that will be, but we'll have to find out. So you won't be seeing what we saw at Monza, in that the drivers will be stopping at around about the halfway mark, maybe just before if they've got damage or if they're trying for the undercut. We'll be seeing drivers stopping at different intervals, and especially with a two-stopper, if drivers are trying to push longer, that will really come to play. This really brings up the effect of an undercut because you have twice the amount of chance to do it. So watch now, Conor Peltman's going on to another lap. His previous time of 1 minute 53 dead is still time to beat, but Wayne Tammer has actually set a purple final sector on his last lap, but he's also significantly down on Peltman's time, being about 2 seconds down. We've got Roman Rattel in third, Nick Nuggermore in fourth, Luke Mancini in fifth. That's Nicholas Barnsdale, Sunday driver, in sixth, and Robert Pawn ran up the field, but he's not set a lap, and from what I understand, he's also done zero practice. So that could be quite intriguing to see what develops there, as Conor Peltman's now sets a purple first sector. Obviously, if you're new to the whole motorsport sim racing game, a purple sector means that it's the fastest overall, as you can see on the bottom right of your screen. It means it's the fastest section of the track done by anybody. If it's green, it's a personal best, and if it's yellow or white, excuse me, I cannot remember which color it appears on our graphics, it means they have not improved. As he heads now up to the famous spoon curve, that double apex hairpin, big sweeping, and then down the long stretch into that fantastic left-hander 130R. That could be tricky as tyre wear comes into effect, because it's such a flat-out corner, especially in modern cars, but it's also tricky. It's got to be extremely precise, and it's very easy to break the rear traction there and do an Alan McNeish and end up in the wall facing backwards, as Conor Peltman does not improve his middle sector. Now, yeah, as I was just mentioning here, 130R, as the tyre wear goes on, I believe especially the rears will take quite a beating here with Suzuka. There's a lot of hard acceleration zones, so we'll have to see. As it says, Conor Peltman set to the fastest lap. I believe our graphics having a little bit of a moment there. Excuse us there as he crosses the line. My live timing is also apparently having a moment. I'm just going to refresh that page. Excuse us, sorry. Lots of technical issues tonight, but we are trying our best. But as I mentioned, it is the finale, so there is no longer a championship battle, so it really is not the end of the world if the odd occasional thing goes a little bit wrong. So we follow Peltman's again. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is on rFactor 2, so this is obviously a very highly detailed sim. As Conor Peltman comes up behind Roman Rattel, I believe that is there, and Rattel just runs a little bit wide to let Peltman's through. There's about 3.5 minutes remaining of this qualifying session. Peltman's he's been simply dominant in this championship. A second place at Silverstone and wins in Portland and Monza. He has just been on fire. There's no other way to put it. Simply sensational stuff from him. It's at Monza, you know, he was really going toe to toe with the Ruben van der Hooding, who we are unfortunately missing today. And until the incident between the pair that gave him damage and left him unable to catch van der Hooding, he was really battling hard, but also being fair. It was very, enjoyable race, especially seeing as how it was the only racing that was going on, because we had 6 cars and about 2 of them crashed out within the first 10 minutes. But that's not the deal here. The deal is that he is, as Luca Mancini reverses down the pit lane. Not really sure what happened there. I assume he just missed his pit box. I mean, he really has been dominant this championship, and it is well deserved. And hopefully we should be able to interview him post race, just get his feelings, see how he's doing, on what's next for him, and then, well, I mean, hopefully he'll be joining the next ARL series, whatever that be. I don't know myself. It's up for the stewards to decide. As we watch Nick Barnsdale, Sunday driver, coming round to settle up. There's about 2 minutes remaining. It's about a 1 minute. It's a mid 1 minute 50 lap. Unless you're Nicholas Barnsdale's, apparently his best lap is a 2 minutes and 7 seconds. So but I don't believe he's pushed yet. Yeah, as I was saying, it's about a mid 1 minute 50 lap. So our race time, we'll be looking at just under about 20 laps just over 20 laps in the 40 minutes we have on our hands. So all this mental math, it's not good for you. especially when you're not very good at maths like I am. But yeah, as I've previously mentioned, so it's coming to this qualifying session. We'll then have a 5-minute warm-up where the drivers can just test out their cars on full fuel. We'll have a commercial break halfway through that. I will go and speak with Connor Pelkmans just to see how he's doing and anybody else in the voice chat at the time. And then we'll have our race, 40 minutes of Suzuka. Except it's not the 40 minutes of Suzuka. It's the ARL Summer Series Round 4, Formula 3, rFactor 2. I completely butchered that sentence. My apologies. As I was saying, yeah, Connor Pelkmans, he's been phenomenal this series, and Van der Hooding as well in second place of the championship. He's also been, 2 second places. The other winner of the series is Darius Andre, who only actually entered the first race. I'm not sure if he had other time commitments. It's a bit of a shame. There's a couple other people who also only entered the first race, myself included. I may have slightly killed Luca Mangini. My apologies, Luca. We cleared it up between us. I had some technical issues myself that race in which it loaded the wrong version of Silverstone and somehow let me race on the old layout. It was very weird. Now, just as we follow Nick Barnsdale as he comes around final corner, does he improve? I believe he does. My live timing would like to. I guess he does. It's a 1:58 from Nick Barnsdale. So it's a fairly solid lap. The back end of the field is pretty close, and the front end of the field is pretty close as well. As Robert Pawn sets a fastest middle sector, that could be something to look out for. As the checkered flag goes up for qualifying, Wayne Tamer is going to be the first to finish up qualifying. Does he improve? No, he does not. He is just shy of his 1:55.1 personal best. Still a very good lap. Oh, and Connor Pelkmans. Oh, and Robert Pawn goes fastest. There it is. He's not done anything in the first sector, but in the last 2 he set 2 purple sectors, and he's absolutely flown. But Connor Pelkmans is on a lap, so we'll have to see. I also believe that Robert Pawn entered this race on a complete whim earlier and has done virtually no practice, from what I can tell from the Discord. My apologies if my information is wrong. I'm trying my best. So that is simply phenomenal stuff there. As it tells you that Connor Pelkmans has a purple first sector. I can tell you that's incorrect. On my live timing screen, it's slower than his best. I'm gonna go with my live timing over the graphics here, just for the sake of direct server connection. There is Robert Pawn in the pits, our current pole sitter. He only entered 1 race in this. He's also one of the only people who entered 1 race in this series, as I mentioned earlier. In the first race, if I'm not mistaken, yes, and he got 3rd place. So it's he could have been a championship if he entered more of them, but he did not. And it appears that, well, there's your standings, but Connor Pelkmans is still on a lap, so we'll have to see. But as it stands, we've got Robert Pawn in 1st place. Connor Pelkmans completes the front row of the grid. Then we've got Roman Rattel and Yet Klein Nagelvoort on row 2. Wayne Tamer, Luca Mangini, row 3. And Nicholas Barnsdale, Sunday driver, all alone on row 4, down in 7th place. And Connor Pelkmans does not improve. He's made a big mistake in the last sector. I think he's quite some way off his best lap time. So that is Robert Pawn on the pole position. So there you have it for your grid. And there is no performance BOP in this series. The field's too close to have a performance BOP. So it's a very close series. As you can see, by the gap between the top 2, Michael. So, just give it a few moments and we should be loading into the warm-up, so that's where we should be able to see where the race paces are at. Because typically in a warm-up, in rFactor 2, in a warm-up you either just don't head out at all, or you head out with a full fuel load and do about 2 laps, realise you've ruined your entire setup, and then panic, and then it's too late to do anything. But obviously rFactor 2, there are no parc ferme rules in rFactor 2, so you can change the setup before the race if you really wish. As we have 15 seconds to go before the warm-up. I've also just spilt my drink all over me, so that's quite enjoyable. So we should see the drivers leaving the pits in about a couple seconds, or not. They may not leave the pits at all. Oh, yes, and that is someone pulling out there. I believe that's Connor Pelkmans. As the warm-up begins. So we'll have to see where the race pace is. Oh, and there's a fair few people heading out. 3 drivers all neck and neck as they head out. It's Robert Pawn heading out there. Connor Pelkmans as well. I believe that was Nick Barnsdale in the midst there. That's Roman Rattel heading out the pits there, if I'm not mistaken. So it's quite hard to keep track of all of these driver liveries, I must say. But as I always say, I'm trying my very best. We've got Toby Sanford in the comments feeling very upset because it's not on his beloved AC. I'm sure there'll be another AC series for you, Toby. Don't worry. And if not, you can always just set one up yourself. You know how to run a server now. Now we're focusing on Roman Rattel now. He seems to be reasonably on the pace in qualifying. Maybe he's got a bit of a trick up his sleeve. Maybe he's set the car up for the race. So maybe come the race he will just be absolutely dominant. We'll never know. As he heads up towards Spoon. I'm not very good with the corner names around Suzuka, so do excuse me. I do have a track map on my document somewhere. Yes, here it is. Spoon. That's called Degner. That's the cash. Okay, actually, you don't need that to know that many. It's not as bad as Monza, where there is a lot of variantes and delas and corners. I mean, but it's better than having a number one system, 1 to 17 or whatever system. In my opinion, I like having always a Robotel pulls over to the side and stops there, seemingly, or slows down very heavily. As and there goes Neckline Nagelvort into Spoon. But as I was saying, I do prefer having corner names. You know, it gives them some character. You know, for example, if I was to take Spa, you know, you think of Eau Rouge and Radion, you think of, you know, that they're scary corners. If I told you, think of turn 2 and 3 at Spa, it doesn't sound anywhere near as scary, to be frank. Yeah, speaking of scary corners, is he going to go full pace through 130R? If he does, this should be easy flat in these cars. I'm not quite sure that Neckline Nagelvort's going full pace at all. He seems to be quite subdued. Well, there's a spin in the background. I believe that was Roman Rattel going around there. Not sure. But now, as we come up to halfway through our warm-up, we're just going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to pop off and speak to Connor Peltmans very briefly, and then we'll be back, and I can tell you exactly what's going on. So if you'll excuse me, I have somewhere to be quite quickly. Right, I have returned. Hello, everybody. The general vibe is it's going to be terrible. Everybody in the race is all on one voice chat, and they've all collectively decided that Robert Pawn on pole is possibly the worst thing that could ever happen to them. He's also got a bit of an interesting setup by the sounds of things. He's got basically maximum front wing and no rear wing, so could see Robert Pawn getting a bit sideways throughout this race. But it's good to have that. I think that might be a feature we should include in future races. It's quite fun to be able to just go in and check how people are doing during the races. It's almost like our own personal team radio. It's almost actually like in a NASCAR or British touring cars when under the safety car periods or before the start of the race, they do have the ability, the broadcasting team, to speak to select drivers, and they utilize that very well. Just gauge how they're feeling. So I'm sure we will make use of that as the warm-up comes to an end. It being the warm-up, it should just teleport the driver straight back to the pits. Unless I'm mistaken, unless that's just the series I'm doing. Which I have a race in later, actually. It might let you finish a lap. I'm not sure. I haven't played rFactor in a good while, actually. It escapes my memory. There's a bit of a lock up there from Peltman's going into hairpin. According to the track map, that's just called hairpin, but we'll take it. So apparently it does let you just finish the race, which is fair enough. Oh no, it doesn't. He's just been teleported back to pits. There you go. So 30 seconds to go until we line up on the grid for the Ace Racing League. We should have a formation lap unless I'm again mistaken. Apologies. I've quite rushed up here. I didn't quite have time to double check all my information. I had my dinner quite late. So again, my apologies. Alright, thank you. I've just been confirmed that we do have a formation lap. Thank you very much. So we'll have a formation lap so you can see all the cars and all their glory going very slow before they again shoot off at 100 billion miles an hour. So we should be going in just a few seconds. And yes, away they go on the formation lap. Weaving left to right to try and get the tyres warm, but also most importantly the brakes warm. So you should see people braking quite irregularly because I know it doesn't seem very logical, but actually warming the brakes is probably the most vital part of heating your tyres up. As we see the grid confirmed again, Robert Porn on pole, Connor Peltman's lining up on second place, Roman Rattel and Nick Klein-Nagelvoort complete the second row. Wayne Tanner is followed by Luca Mangini, and then rounding up the grid, it's Sunday driver Nicholas Barnsdale. As they head through the infamous S's. It's a very famous track, this very famous section of corners, but as I said, a very famous track. You know, a host of many spectacular races in history. You know, we've got Senna versus Prost, Schumacher versus Hakkinen, Raikkonen versus the entire field in 2005. It's a very enjoyable track, I must say. I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest. I don't know why. Just when I'm hot, I think it's not my track of choice, I suppose. Very good camera angle there as they go through 200R, that corner's called. See, I do remember that one. And they head into Spoon, that fantastic double left-hand hairpin, which is probably more like two separate corners in these cars, given the size and speed of them. But in a faster series or in a bigger car, it's definitely a double hairpin. He says more, it's almost a 290 lefts to head through 130R. If we're going to see any crashes today, I'm fairly confident it's going to be either there or the first corner in about 20-30 seconds. Heading into the Castro Triangle on that location of the infamous Senna Prost incident in 1988, if I'm not mistaken. There's just a burnout there by Robert Porn. As I mentioned earlier, everyone is completely terrified that Robert Porn is just going to shoot off into the distance. So that could some things to watch out for, along with the multiple strategy choice. It appears that everyone will be joining that because everyone's on the same voice chat, and that voice chat is the is where I got my resources from. Someone could crash for the Vine on the formation lap, but unfortunately it's too late for that. They're not going to do a me in Formula 1 2006 Championship Edition, where you specifically get told to not crash, and then you crash. I love that game. That was a great game. Anyway, we should be racing any moment now, and I assume that is a car who was out of position. At the back, that is a Nick Barnsdale Sunday driver. But yeah, we should be going green any moment now, just waiting for the lights to go out. There's 5 red lights on, and the 5 red lights go out, and we are away here at Suzuka for the final round of the Ace Racing League Summer Series. Robert Porn seems to have got away well. I believe that's Connor Peltman's, or is it Roman Rattel looking to the inside? I can't tell, they're in the same livery. Oh, and there's a bit of jostling behind them. Connor Peltman's on the outside. Connor Peltman's gets sideways. Very nearly contact between the pair. And Robert Porn has already got a decent gap, and Connor Peltman's manages to retake that second place. All pretty clean through the first corner. That's very pleasing to see. All the drivers all there in one shot. Fantastic. Managed to avoid a first corner, that infamous sim racing first corner collision that always seems to happen, but not here in Ace Racing League. We're too professional for that. As we focus on Nick Barnsdale, he's had a fantastic start. He's really made places up. he must have set his car up properly for the race, because he's gone from 7th to 4th. That is absolutely sensational stuff from Nick Barnsdale there as he heads through Dagna 2. And there's Nick Klein-Nagelvoort, he's gone backwards. And Luca Mangini in the same place. I assume that's Wayne Tanner ahead of him. So it appears that Nick Klein-Nagelvoort and Sunday driver Nick Barnsdale have swapped positions, as Nick Klein-Nagelvoort looks to the inside there of Luca Mangini. Has a little look. Maybe he'll have a try up into Spoon. Or maybe he'll wait and try into 130 yards. It's a big corner there, but there's lots of overtaking opportunities with the big straight just beforehand. As they head through Spoon. Nagelvoort all over the back of Luca Mangini. Mangini in turn is going to get the draft off of Wayne Tanner. So we could see it getting 3 wide towards the end of the straight. That would be a bit spicy for the first lap. As Connor Palmers takes the fastest middle sector. And that's Nick Klein-Nagelvoort looking to the inside of Luca Mangini. Oh, and someone runs right there. They come back on, and that was Wayne Tanner running off the road, I believe. No, it wasn't. It was Luca Mangini running off the road. But he's managed to get the overtake done. I'm not sure if he might get a time penalty for that, or a post-race penalty, because that was a little bit of a clear violation of track limits. But we'll let it slide for now. That's not up to me to decide. That's for the stewards to decide. Connor Peltman has really reeled in Robert Pawn here. It's only the second lap, but already it's almost like Robert Pawn's tyres have just gone off when you consider the gap that he pulled at the start. But I do also know that Robert's setup is basically maximum front wing and minimum rear wing. So in this first section, he is going to be absolutely rapid in the tight and twisty turns of the S's and up through Dagnar and 200R. But then in the last half of the track, that big run down and then 130R and then the Casa Triangle, all very quick corners, he is going to suffer. As Connor Peltman is right on him, really sticking to his line, as we see Roman Rattel there just in 3rd place. He doesn't have a look into hairpin. Or he maybe does on the exit. He's got a really good exit there. A little bit of a twitch. But nothing comes out of it. I believe he's going to try and follow him through Spoon and get the move done in 130, as we saw a lap ago with Luca Mangini and Wayne Tanner. And it appears that Nick Klein-Nagelvoort has actually also overtaken Wayne Tanner. So maybe Wayne has an issue. We never know. He's really not had a good start. He's gone from 4th or 5th all the way down to 7th. That is even worse than Nick Klein-Nagelvoort's start. Not to be rude to either driver. I'm just the messenger. Please don't shoot me. And Robert Pawn really moves over. Connor Peltman looks to the outside as Connor Peltman's set again is... Oh, and that is some aggressive defending there by Robert Pawn. But Connor Peltman has a look to the outside. Will he get the move done around the outside into the Casio Triangle? Yes, he does. What a move by Connor Peltman, our champion of the Summer Series. He really was on it through 130R, got blocked off by Robert Pawn, but managed to keep the run going as he sets a new fastest lap time. There's a yellow flag somewhere, and he sweeps around the outside into the Casio Triangle. What a move. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, and Robert Pawn goes straight on. Manages to keep it off the gravel. Appears he's just missed his braking point. Trying to push after Connor Peltman's. He's really dropped back here. I don't know if he's just... almost overheated his tyres on the first lap, maybe. He's something very strange going on here. Very peculiar. But I'm sure that they are trying, that he is trying his very best. My apologies there for the word mix up. As Roman Rattel now wants to try and make up that place, get into 2nd. He's been fairly quiet so far over the first 5 minutes, but he's driven confidently. And he's driven quickly. There's a very big gap to Nick Barnsdale in 4th, and he's just been patiently watching the leaders, trying to see what they can do as we head now up into Spoon Curve. Hopefully he can try and get the draft down the back straight and into 130R, and do an Alonso and Schumacher in 2006, I believe, when he just sweeps around the outside. Oh, and that is Robert Pawn off the track. So it looks like he's going to get the move done into 130R. He's going to have the momentum to draw alongside him, definitely. And there he is. He's going to poke a nose in front. Robert Pawn tries to move aggressively over. Could there be an incident? No touching. Robert Pawn uses the momentum from the outside, and he manages to keep the position. Very tight racing there. Very clean from both of them. They were both very hard, very fair. Good stuff to see. As Connor Peltman's is really, really banging in the lap times. He's running very consistent, high 53s, low 54s. As he starts to speed off into the distance. I assume this is his tactic, is to push hard on this set of tyres, and then his second set maybe take a little bit longer, and then his third set take to the end. As I've previously mentioned, this is going to be a 2-stop race. You could run a 1-stop, but the benefits would not be too great, because you'd have to run so much slower compared to the 2-stop. Roman Rottelli's dropped back a little bit through this section compared to the previous lap. That may be due to the fact that he's Robert Vaughan hasn't suffered the same incident through the first turn as they head through Degnar. My apologies, I'm still trying to learn the corner names for Suzuka. It is Degnar even. Wow, I'm having a bit of a nightmare here today, apparently. As we continue the to follow them. We've got some support for Connor Peltmans in the chat from Finland as well. I'm sure he will appreciate that. I'll inform him when I speak with him next. As Roman Rottelli's really wide through Spoon, that's going to compromise him down here. I think that might actually let Robert Braun even break the toe, which would be really vital to for Braun to keep that second place. And everyone will get points in this race due to there is no more than 10. There are not more than 10 drivers in this race, so everyone will receive the points for their positions. So 7th place, last place, even if they're DNF, they will receive 3 points. Got me doing all this mental maths. I can't keep up with it. Please stop making me do maths. As continue to follow this lead battle. No, but Connor Peltmans, he's still in sight for Robert Vaughan. You know, you can still see him. It's I'd say it's very much like Peltmans is really pushing hard on this first set of tyres. As we come up to about a quarter of the way through the race, he really wants to just kind of get a lead up, pit nice and early compared to the other drivers, and then really bring it, home. Just kind of cruise home. If he pushes early on the first 2 sets, he takes it nice and easy on the third, pit nice and early, and then if he needs to fight, he's been taking it easy. He's got the ability. As Niet Klein Nagelvoort is he's retired. Well, I was about to say he comes into the pits, but he's actually just retired, so I'm not sure what that's for. He wasn't in last, but maybe he's been well, he is now. He's retired, but maybe he was having problems. I'm not sure. I can just message the Discord server and see what's going on there. But yeah, that's unfortunate. 6 drivers remaining in this race. That's a shame. But it is what it is. As we continue round, I'm gonna ask. So my eyes are just momentarily averted away from the stream. I've just realised I could have sent a message on my phone. That's what I'll do next time. As we follow Connor Peltmans now into the Casio Triangle, that really, it's quite a tricky chicane. It's deceivingly long and deceivingly quick, but also deceivingly short and deceivingly slow at the same time. You go in, and it's almost faster than you expect it to be, but then when you do try and speed up, you just understeer straight off. It's a very tricky chicane. It's a good fun way to end a lap, and if you properly nail the exit, it's fantastic stuff. As Connor Peltmans sweeps through the first corner, he's really showing why he is the champion of the Summer Series yet again. As he gets a little bit sideways coming through the S's, I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. We should see him pitting probably within the next few minutes, I'd say. If you wanted to go equal tyres, it would be about 13 minutes into the first. No, excuse me, I'm tripping over my own words tonight, all over the shop. You would be, if you wanted to make the tyre steads even length, you would be pitting at around about 13-minute intervals. Should I get you to 39 minutes? And I'm sure you could stretch one set of tyres an extra minute or an extra lap or 2 where you wanted. Now let's have a look and see what's going on. And we have got Nick Barnsdale in the pits as well. So he'll be dropping back. He'll be going to the second set of tyres. He is not retiring. as we look at that lovely delivery, and he accelerates away. Nick Barnsdale currently running last, but not last in the actual standings. He's in 6th place. Yeah, Klein Nagelvoort obviously retiring for reasons I'm unsure of. As he heads out on a fresh pair of boots. Let's see if he can maybe get the undercut done on Wayne's Hammer. Maybe that was his plan. He was in fighting distance of Wayne's Hammer, I believe. So maybe he's just trying to propel himself up to 5th, get a couple more points on the board. I don't have the championship standings on me open right now. I will tell you if that affects his position in the championship later on. As he heads now into Degner and runs a little bit wide, just on cold tyres. Tyre temperature obviously being very crucial in rFactor. It's for all its flaws, you know, it has a lot of critics. You know, it's got a lot of bugs and screen freezes, and a lot of people disagree with the current iRacing style DLC releases that Studio 397 currently putting up. But for all of those, you have to admit that the tyre model is sensational. It has a ridiculous number of contact patches. It was the first simulator to really simulate tyre, like proper tyre wear and flat spots, and you know, separate tyre temperatures for the carcass and the tread and the actual surface of the tyre as well. It's extremely clever stuff that I just do not understand how it works. I am in no way a computer coder. I'm in no way a video games expert. We've had a request to show Romain Rattel because the people want to see if he's picked the correct skin. No, he appears to be in the Cemal skin. I'm not sure if that's the one you've designed. Apologies if it isn't. It's not my problem. Just that you can duke that out with him afterwards if it's not your skin. He's been running pretty confident today. As we look back on Wayne's Hammer, who's maybe going to shortly come under threat from Nick Barnsdale in the next few laps, as he's but he's also right with Luca Mangini, so these two could be undercut by Nick Barnsdale under the pit stops. We'll have to see. And oh, that's good that Romain is driving your skin. So very enjoyable in that white, lime green, and black Sim Apex. I mean, if you asked him to pick yours, I'm pretty sure he'd pick yours. I'm pretty sure that's how asking someone to do something and then saying yes works. And these two drivers are leaving it quite long. Maybe they are running the two-stopper. That would be interesting. I'd have assumed that around about now you'd be well in the pits. Maybe they're trying to run a shorter last stint. I don't know. I'm not the one driving. When we have our commercial break, I'll pop into the voice chat and ask how everyone's doing. See what the pit strategies are on. As we continue to follow these two through the S's. You know, like a iconic set of corners, you know, it's fantastic. It's got obviously many comparisons at many many sections. Obviously, Maggots and Beckett's are like this. There's the section that's based off of Maggots and Beckett's at Circuit of the Americas, but the S's it's special because it's got that elevation change. Yes, the corners may not be as fast and they may not be as technical as Maggots and Beckett's, but it sweeps up that hill, and that is something that you simply don't see at a lot of tracks, especially nowadays. Is elevation change. You know, it is wonderful when you've got a track that not only drives fantastically, but you know, you've got to deal with how the ground lies. You've got to deal with how the camber of the road, how that affects the corners and how the car drives and the setup as well. You do have to take into account the setup as Luca Mangini runs wide through Spoon. There goes Wayne Hammer up the inside. Maybe Luca Mangini will have the draft and the momentum to maybe have a look back at that 4th position. As they head up to 130R, he's going to have a look. He looks to the outside. He's going to have a look to the inside. No, he's not. Maybe he'll have a dive into the Casio triangle around the outside, though. He's definitely trying to have a look as Wayne Hammer makes his car as wide as he possibly can. And Luca Mangini has just sent it straight on by the looks of things. There's a yellow flag. Oh, no, and he's spun out. I'm not sure if there was contact there. There was a bit of a lag spike in the game as he just smacks into a concrete pillar. I assume he doesn't have damage because he's managed to keep going, or if he does have damage, it's minimal. Because if he'd have big damage, he'd be straight into those pits. As we come up to the halfway point in the race, so it seems like most of the drivers are running on a one-stopper, which I was judging by my initial impressions from messages earlier. This was going to very much be a two-stop race, so maybe the track conditions have changed. I don't know, but we'll have to see. I'm just gonna see if anyone's responded to my message. No, they haven't. I've been abandoned. But anyway, moving swiftly forward. Robert Pawn. He's dropped a little bit back from Conor Peltmans, but he's also managed to gain some ground on Roman Rattel. He's 5 seconds back on the lead driver, but he maintains a 2.5 second gap over third place. You know, judging from his pole position and his first lap here, he looked like he was going to be the dominant force today, but he's almost kind of just faded away. It's quite confusing. I don't know whether that's a lack of practice, because from what I can tell, he came into this race with about 2 laps under his belt, or if maybe the car was set up more towards a qualifying setup, or maybe it just runs worse under high fuel loads. I'm not sure. So maybe late in the race he'll become more of a factoring force. Oh, I'm just gonna open my chocolate bar if you don't mind me. I went down to the shop earlier, bought myself some food. So I'll try and keep my chewing to a minimum. So I apologise for that in advance. But still, up through the S's, as I mentioned, just look at that elevation change through there. You know, in a high downforce car such as these, well, obviously this is no Formula One car, but you know, it still will corner a lot quicker than your road car does. It's simply phenomenal just to go up that hill, just left, right, left, right. It's simply amazing. And then through the big left-hander over the hill, through Degner even, and up through into the hairpin. And this is 200R, I believe. Lots of very creative corner names here at Suzuka. But at least it's something I can pronounce, because I do not speak Japanese at all. So if it was a Japanese corner name, I think I would be a little bit stuffed on that one. Through spoon curve. He appears to have gained quite significantly on Roman Rattel this lap. He's almost doubled his distance. I don't know if Roman Rattel has made a mistake somewhere. But on my live timing stream, he's 3 seconds up. On the graphics, he's 4 seconds up. Very interesting. Well, let's see now. This is my live timing updates as we cross the line. And oh, sorry, I just got us away there. Robert Pawn has entered the pit lane here. So it appears that we are going for a one-stop from Robert Pawn. Oh, and there's Conor Peltmans in the pits as well. As Conor Peltmans pulls away. So just in time to see all the pit stops as Roman Rattel enters the lead. But as we near the halfway point in this race, we're going to take another commercial break. I'm going to quickly pop off and check in and see how everybody's doing. And then we'll be back afterwards for the final 20 minutes of this series. I have returned. Welcome back, everybody. Just reporting in. Everyone's feeling pretty good. They've all decided to commit themselves to the one stop, but it is killing the tires. So that's a factor to look out for. I think it shouldn't be as bad in this stage of the race as the fuel loads get less, so there's less stress on the tires. So hopefully this stint should be less painful for the drivers. But they also do have to deal with the mental and physical stress. You know, it's a 40-minute race. It's not exactly short, especially in a Formula 3 car. So they're starting to be getting tired soon. As Wade Tammer comes into the Castro Triangle, the location of that infamous Senna and Prost incident, as Romain Rattel comes into the pits. There he is, dropping down into third place. Will Wayne Tammer be able to take that third place from him? It's going to be very close as they come into the first corner, I believe. Wayne Tammer is going to have the outside on Romain Rattel. Does he shoot through? Yes, he does. Wayne Tammer into third place, but Romain Rattel does have those fresh tyres, so will we see him passing through? We'll have to see. As they head up the S's, it'll take a lap or two to get his tyres up to temperature. That extremely complex, extremely too mind-boggling for me to understand. rFactor 2 tyre model, which is basically the most realistic you can get on the market. It's either that or you spend £100,000 on rFactor Pro, and then a lot more money on a very competent simulator and a PC that doesn't melt if you put your graphic settings slightly too high, as mine does. And there goes Romain Rattel dive bombing into the hairpin. Up the inside, Wayne Tammer's already out of the way. And you can set his sights forward on Robert Paul and Connor Peltmans, but maintain their positions coming out of the pit stops. And hope we should see Romain Rattel just pulling away now, as they come through Spoon. But Wayne Tammer will have the draft down into 130R, so that is always something to consider, is the momentum. I think he's going to be too far back this time. Yeah, you can just see already the fresh tyres, what they're able to do. Well, yes, Romain Rattel's been faster this race, but the fresh tyres, you know, that is a significant gap pulled already, just on the acceleration alone. It's quite remarkable to see what people can do on a fresh set of boots as they head through the Castro Triangle and onto the main straight. As I was mentioning, yep, Nick Klein-Nagelvoort. The reason he retired from this race is he had some rear wing damage, and he just decided enough was enough. Although it was early on, he didn't really want to, you know, spend his race, his Saturday afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are, strolling around at the back, which is fair enough. You know, that's not an enjoyable experience for anyone. I've had plenty of races like that. It's frustrating, especially, you know, when it's not out of your own cause. I assume, you know, there was a bit of a touch as Luca Mangini gets a penalty there. I assume that's for track limits, as there's a yellow flag in sector 2 as well. So quite interesting. We don't have a live steward for this race, so any penalties will just be for track limits. Otherwise, we would be able to apply mid-race penalties had we had a live steward. So, for example, if someone just did a break into one corner, for example, and took out, let's say, Connor Peltmans, if Robert Paul just took out Connor Peltmans to take the lead for his own, the live steward would be able to award Robert Paul with a penalty mid-race. But we don't have that. Instead, the system that we're using for this race is that you file a report post-race in the Discord server, which the link should be in the description if you fancy joining and having a race in the future. And then you can file a report. The stewards will review this post-race, and then they will release their announcements, and yeah, and the standings will be updated, and the any positions that change will change. As I think my live timer's got a little bit out of sync, because apparently, yeah, there you go, fix it now. The things we have to do as commentators, eh? It's not as easy as it seems. But I'm trying my best. As there's Wayne Tammer in the pits. I believe that's a second pit stop from him. So he's committed to the 3 stop. He's got to get that set of tasks the last 15 minutes though. That's quite a margin. That's more than either of the two sets he's had before. They've lasted for about 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So not as long as 15. You know that. You know, a lap doesn't seem like much, but when you're Luca Mangini also comes into the bits. Ooh, what's going on here? Maybe he's got damage here. There. Oh, he did get a penalty, so maybe they've touched. I don't know. I mean, Wayne Sam was already out of the pits, so very confusing. As Luca Mangini comes in. Oh, and that's Nick Barnes there running very wide as Spoon, and he's got damage. I can already tell by the way that he just wobbled coming through the second apex that that car is broken. Yep, there's no front wing on that. I assume the suspension's going to be wonkier than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Is he going to be able to hold it through? No. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's a big hit. I don't think he knew he didn't have a front wing there. He's just going to let the leaders through. There's Luca Mangini just coming out the pits now. We'll see Nick Barnsdale in the pits any moment now, I assume, because it's frankly suicide to drive around without a suspension and a front wing without a suspension. Wow, my English is really poor tonight. Apologies to everyone watching. I am very much struggling, as it seems. But Luca Mangini, his first podium in sim racing last time out in Monza. He has been improving. I can say, you know, over the past few weeks. You know, he definitely proved that at Monza. He's still not on the pace of the front runners, which I would consider to be alien pace, frankly myself. But you know, he's definitely got quicker. I will say that much. As Nick Barnsdale comes out the pits, obviously that damage was repairable. We are running at only 50% damage in this race. It's not 100% damage. If it was 100% damage, I think Nick Barnsdale would not only be out this race, but also checking into the hospital after that impact at 130R. That was a bit of a leg breaker, I must say. But yeah, Luca Mangini, that's where I was. Sorry, just trying to keep my brain engaged. Apologies, it's a Saturday evening. I am a bit tired. I've been sat in my room studying all day, or trying to anyway. So my brain's it's a bit mushy tonight. But my apologies, I'm trying my best. But yeah, Luca Mangini, he got his debut podium out at Monza after, incidents and penalties. And, obviously he wasn't, I wouldn't say personally he was quite on the pace to have the podium, but, he drove a very clean race and a very respectable race as, I believe that's Nick Barnsdale trying to warm his tyres up there. But yeah, he, although he wasn't on the pace, he did just drive a very clean and respectable race. He was very consistent. He didn't go off. That's a lie. He did go off at one point when I said he hadn't gone off and then went immediately off. Commentator's curse. I'll try not to do that again. Sorry, Luca. And but he managed to pretty much keep all four wheels on the track at every point, bar that one mistake he made coming into the first Lesmo at Monza. And frankly, it was a well-deserved podium, in my opinion. I think it's done good for him as well. I think mentally it's a bit of a boost. Luca's a very, very much an optimistic guy. He's very kind. After our incident at Silverstone, which resulted in both of us retiring, which I just outbraked myself. I've got an excuse. I was on the old version of Silverstone. Technical issues, hard to explain, but I outbraked myself essentially because the braking markers were different, the corner shit was different. Clattered into the back of him. I was quite angry. But he was relatively calm. He's a very optimistic chap. He understands that mistakes happen. We both moved on quite quickly, and he did file for a penalty, and that's fair enough. As we have 10 minutes left on the clock. He's a very much an optimistic chap, and I believe that that podium will have done him a world of good mentally. It's getting your first podium is always the hardest, but when you do have it, I remember my first podium in sim racing. I was in 5th until the last corner, when it's a British Touring Car League that I'm in. I'm actually racing in. Once this race is finished, I'm hopping straight into my rig and over to do that. But when I got my first podium, I was in 5th, and then there was an incident in the last corner and I managed to just sneak through and just grab third, and I was absolutely elated. It's just the most amazing feeling. Like I know people say it's just a game, and I don't mean to sound cliche, but when you've put work in and time in, and you are racing, even if not in real life, you are still racing, and to be able to get something for your achievements, it's really is a fantastic feeling. Just chasing that win now, as Luca Mangini is as well. Maybe we can participate together on track another time, share a podium. That'd be quite nice. He's always a good guy to race against. He's very fair, very very fair racer. He's just a very nice guy as well. I'm surprised Nick Barnes though hasn't let Wayne Sammer through yet. I assume they're racing because they're all on a voice chat together, unless I'm mistaken. Wayne Sammer is on there, I'm pretty sure. But if they are on a voice chat, Wayne Sammer goes through just as I look away again. It's one of those days. It is one of those days for me. But that I'm sure they'll have just been having a little bit of fun just to finish off the season. And on the subject of finishing off the season, there's our champion, Connor Peltmans, who I should be interviewing after this race if I remember how to add someone to a Discord call, which I should do. He's been dominant the entire season. So a second place and 2 first places. It's the performance of a champion, though. It's well deserved. To be this dominant, especially in a 4-race season, when at the start, we've had in the first race we had such big names competing. Although the entrance list has dropped off, he's still been going at it. He's still been racing hard. He really wants this champion. Well, he really wanted this championship, and that's what he's got because Ruben van der Velde didn't enter today's race. And obviously, sorry everyone. As I've said, my brain's mush. I don't know why. I'm trying my best. I might just have some more chocolate. I might need food. That might be what it is. As I've been speaking to him this week, he's been giving me info, just kind of let me know what's going on. He was kind of cautiously optimistic about this championship. I know what it's like to be in a championship situation. I've been to a lot of in real life races where I've been in contact with drivers who are on the verge of championship. The World Casting Championships. I've been around Formula Renault Eurocup, British Formula 4, touring cars. Where I've been talking to drivers who are trying to focus on the job and just get the job done. And really, the last thing you want in those scenarios is distractions. So I've been trying to just keep it quiet about the championship. I've just saying not when you win the champion. If he wins the champion. You don't want to, because it is pretty stuff. People adapt to it differently. Some people go in with sheer confidence, but some people they're scared that they're going to mess it up because it's a championship is a big thing, even in sim racing and even in a mini series like this. It's a big thing. It's a big achievement. To put champion by your name. As Nick Barnsdale comes into the pits again with 5 minutes to go. It's a big thing to be champion. Jenson Button in his first book, his autobiography, talks about how he in 2009. Obviously, there was that dominant spell with Brawn at the start of the season, and then because the team didn't have the funds for R&D, there was basically nothing was put on the car the entire season. So the car at the last race was exactly the same as the car at the first race, and funnily enough, it wasn't exactly competitive anymore. And he talks about how the pressure got to him. He started lashing out at his friends in interviews as well. He started really getting attacking journalists who asking him about the championship because it was the last thing he wanted to hear. In that scenario, you don't want to put your mind on it because in your head it's just telling you all the things that can go wrong, and that's not what you want. But Connor Peltmans, Ruben van der Hooding hasn't entered this race, so he's woken up this morning. He's realised he's champion, so he can go into this race feeling nice and easy. I'm sure he would have gone in anyway, very relaxed. He's a relaxed guy, but I'm sure he's elated at it. You know, it's a lot of hard work that's gone in. With 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining for all you anyone else who's extremely funny out there. He's up into spoon curve now. My apologies, the hairpin even. I thought we're at the different section of the track. He's driven pretty well today, Roman Rattel. Driven his own race. I'd say it's a very well-deserved third place at the moment. Obviously, it's not all over till the fat lady sings. Anything can happen. Mistakes, mechanical problems, connection problems as well. That's in particular the sim racing. That is one of the things which it has that real life doesn't. Obviously, with sim you can't you can't model in everything. You know, transmission damage is often something that you can't get in sim racing. You know, engine damage, just random wear and tear here and there doesn't often happen. But what we can get is in real life hardware folks. You can have a wheel or a pedal failure, or you can have a PC crash, or you can have a connection issue. So while we don't exactly have all of the possibilities of what could go wrong in real life, we do have our own set of as sim races, our own set of factors which can definitely impact upon the race. But as I was saying, it's 3 minutes to go. It's about 2 laps. It's been a very solid race from Roman Rattel. He's driven fairly well. It's about 20 seconds behind Robert Pawn in seconds, who in turn is about 6 seconds behind Connor Peltman's our champion. As he headed, sorry everyone, I'm not with it tonight. I don't know why. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. I'm sure you can handle that for the last segment of the race. But yeah, as Roman Rattel, he heads through Degner, gets a little bit twitchy through there, but he is trying his hardest. I'm sure it's even at the end of the race, you're still pushing. The end of the race is always the hardest bit of a race. Time just seems to, for me anyway, time seems to slow down, and it's when the most mistakes happen. But you've yeah, it is what it is. So I know, especially in an endurance race as well. The last stint, or the last hour of your stint in an endurance race is always the longest hour of your life. I did an endurance race in Assetto Corsa, which was dreadful. We don't talk about that. And I ended up doing a 3.5 hour stint because my teammate had connection issues and didn't drive at all. And it's a bit close from Nick Barnsdale there. And the last kind of 45 minutes just took forever. Like I was very grumpy, so I'm very tired. So the first kind of hour and a half I don't really remember because it all just kind of blurred by, and then it was all just kind of messing around. We were safely knotted last, so we'd have taken it, and then just the last 45 minutes, time just seemed to drag on and on. But there's a minute to go of the ARL Summer Series F3 Championship. This will be the final lap, I assume. If not, it's the second to last one. As we follow Nick Barnsdale around. A bit ahead of him, there's Robert Pawn and Luca Mangini. So this will be the last lap because Connor Palmer will be just ahead of them with 35 seconds left to go. And Luca Mangini lets Robert Pawn pass. That's very nice of him. Does he? Yes, he does. Robert Pawn ran a little bit wide through there, so I was just hesitating to see if Luke was going to actually hold that place. But now, with 15 seconds to go, let's go and look at our champion, Connor Peltmans. He's been spectacular again today. What else is there to say? He's driven a flawless race. Made the one-stop work when everyone believed everyone was going to go on a two-stop. Yeah, heads through 130R for the final time. Into the Casio triangle. And he rounds the penultimate corner. Here he is, your series champion. Another flawless race from Connor Peltmans. The Canadian crosses the line to take win number 3 in the series. And there is Robert Pawn coming home in second. Romain Rattel, I'm sure, is not far behind them. Luca Mangini in 5th place. Nick Barnes then in 6th, and that will leave Wayne Tanner in 4th. And there's Remy Rattel crossing the line in 3rd to complete your podium. It's Peltmans, Horn, Rattel. No, that was a good race. It was very enjoyable. You know, it was a lot more stuff going on than in Monza, I must say. So, there's bit of some post-race shenanigans going on there. Donuts. It appears that Conor Peltman's just been killed, so I guess we won't be interviewing him because he's died. But great race. I'm just gonna try and add Conor Peltman's to our group call, so I can try and interview him. Hopefully, if I know how to do that. There he is. No. I have no idea how to do this. My apologies. I'm trying my best. There we go. Someone's done it for me. Thank you, Cemal. Hello, Connor, are you there? I don't know if he's there.
I'm here.
There he is. He's there. There he is. Connor, champion. How are you feeling, mate?
It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good.
That's great. I just saw you got absolutely murdered there by Nick at the end.
Yeah, he ruined my championship donuts. I can't believe it.
It's a bit rude. Do you have anything to say to Nick about that?
Well, I mean, he was in the voice call, so I could already talk to him.
Oh, that's fair enough. So yeah, how was the race from your perspective? Obviously, at the start, Robert got ahead of you at the start of the race and was ahead of you for the first lap, and then you managed to overtake him. What happened there? Was that just he got a really good start, or?
Yeah, he got a really good start, and I was surprised that the dirty air did not kick in a bit more. So I was able to follow him quite closely, and that meant that I could get the slipstream up into the final part of the sector. And I think it was lap 2. I managed to go around the outside of the final chicane.
Yeah, it was a good move, must I say. Well done on that.
Thank you. I think going into 130R, we were almost side by side, and I think I was yelling in the voice chat, Alonso. It was
I could feel the inner Alonso spirit there. No, I just want to, obviously I wasn't able to interview anyone last race, so I just want to briefly touch on the incident at Monza between you and Ruben van der Hooding. You were a bit livid in the Discord post-race, which is fairly understandable. Do you want to just explain what happened between you two?
I wasn't very happy. I'd cut the first chicane, so I'd let him pass because that's the right thing to do when you gain an advantage. And then I slipstreamed him down into the De La Raja chicane, and I got up the inside, and I parked it a bit on the apex, and before I accelerated, and he drove straight into the back of me twice. So he hit me once, sent me sideways, and then he seemed to accelerate into the side of me again. So I don't think that was really fair, and I think the stewards made the right decision in the end.
Yeah, that's fair. Obviously, Van der Hooding being awarded with a post-race 10-second penalty. So thank you. 15. Thank you for So thank you for joining us, Connor. Thanks for the interview. Well done on the win and the championship.
Thank you.
And good luck for any future races or series you participate in. And thank you to everybody at home for viewing the final round of the Ace Racing League Formula 3 Summer Series in rFactor 2. It's been a real pleasure to commentate over the last few races, and we've seen some great racing from everyone. And hopefully you can join us, I believe, next weekend for the Endurance Series race at Spa, and then in the future for any further races that we have. So thank you from us here at Ace Racing League, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching.